Welcome to another video in our fire series. Today, once again, I'm going to use my ferro rod and some natural material I found to start a fire. I think this will actually be the last video where I use my ferro rod. Really can't think of any other thing out there that I want to try to start with the ferro rod. But today what we're going to do is we're going to use parts of a cattail to start a fire. If you don't know anything about cattail, they usually grow around water, usually like swampy water, and lots of times during the year there's parts of this that are edible, but in the winter time everything kind of dries up, at least on the outside layer, and we can use that for starting a fire. Now the first thing we have here is the head of the cattail. Now in the summertime they look more like this. They're nice and solid brown. In the winter they start to fluff out on their own, so maybe you'll find them, they won't even really look brown, they'll just look like a big ball of like cotton out there. So when you look at that you might think, wow, that'd be a great thing to get a fire going. Nice and easy, looks just like cotton. The problem is it actually takes a spark really well, and the problem is it actually burns up really fast. It is a super flash tinder, the cattail head is. So what we need to do is we need to get a lot of that, and we need to get it to really be burning so that it can ignite the other materials. So what we're going to use for the other materials would be the outside layer of our cattail. Now if you can see, it just pretty much looks like just some dried leaves on here, and that's what it is. What you have to watch is, this is kind of, a cattail has layers on it, and you don't want to get down too far on the layers, because even though it's wintertime and this looks dead, it is actually, I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but on the inside you can see how it's darker brown and tan, unlike the outside which looks dried. And if you touch this, you'll know your hands actually kind of feel a little sticky from the sap in there. And it is very wet, very damp, so I wouldn't want to stick this on my fire. I think it would take a lot to get this part of it to ignite. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pull off the outer layers that are dried, and we're just going to get rid of that layer. I have some more here already prepared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a handful of this, especially the shorter ones, pieces that I might have, and I'm just going to do, just like I do if I'm doing a tinder bundle out of the inner bark of a tree, or the bark of a strangle vine or whatever, and I'm going to break up these fibers. I'm going to really go in this, fold it over, and it's going to keep twisting it and grinding it together on itself. Now remember, don't do this with all of your leaves that you've collected, and I'll show you why here in a minute. We're going to use some of the ones that we don't really break up this fine for something else. So what we're going to do is we're just going to keep breaking this up, and we're going to get this a really fine material. I have some others here that I've already done. Like I said, just keep grinding on it. Just want to just rip that stuff into the real fine fibers. So here we go. This is our second layer of our bird's nest we're going to make here. And now here are some of the bigger stalks that I could get, especially if the inner part has just kind of fallen all apart. You'll be able to get a lot longer pieces off of it. What we're going to do with this is just going to kind of bend this in half. Now if you have an extra piece of cordage or something, maybe tie around the end here and keep it together. You can even maybe have a good piece on here, one that's not so dead. You can twist it around. Now these are all pretty dead, they're just breaking up, they're not good for cordage. So what I'm going to do is, now I have kind of like this bull end created here, and I have a handle on this end for me to hold on to, because once we get this going, what I'm going to need to do is pick this up and blow into it, so I want to keep it all together. So what I'm going to do is just going to layer this thing, and you'll find it's very messy working with the cattail, and you'll see that here in a minute when I start opening this up. So I don't know if you've never done one of these, if you've never taken one apart, especially in the wintertime. It's really cool, and it's just how much material is actually in here when you open this up. I mean, it just goes crazy. You can see that there's just a lot of material in there, but we're going to need a lot because it does, like I said, it's like the super flash tinder. It really burns up. So what I did was I also went ahead, I opened up a couple other ones here. You'll see, like I said, it's messy. It's going to get all over you when you do this. So I'm going to try to compact this a little bit, just so when I pick it up that it doesn't fall all apart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ferro rod and I'm just going to shower this area with sparks. And I'm not going to stop, I'm just going to keep coating it, because you'll see as soon as you hit it, it's going to be some flame there and you're going to think, wow, I got a fire going, but it's going to go out right away. So we're just going to coat this whole area with sparks and try to keep it going long enough to get it turned over, and then we can blow through it into the other material that we broke up. You can see all those little fibers burn up right away there. What I want is to get that stuff to be like the charred material on there, that it'll keep smoldering, and then I can flip this thing over. I also want to spread it out too. I want it to be down in there where I can blow through this also. I'll give that a try here. Nope, I actually think that I may actually have too much of the fluffy head material sticking out there on the top. Not able to get down into the others, so just going to kind of rearrange this a little bit. And you can see a piece of cordage probably would be a really good thing right now, because it's kind of falling apart on me. I have some ignited, so we might actually be able to get this to go. Yep. See, like I said, it burns so fast. It's just unbelievable how quick that burns up. And you think you have a nice fire going there, and then you end up you don't have anything. Definitely kind of falling apart here. I'm going to try to get some of the leaves that I broke apart, maybe get them over on top of this, and get this mixed in a little better. Because that's really what I want, is I want to get the leaves to ignite, not just this fluff on the inside. So I'm just going to keep showering this thing here. Another reason that you need a nice big ferro rod too, so you can get lots of sparks down in this thing. Just going to keep mixing it up, keep fluffing it up, getting all that mixed together. It's definitely a problem you're going to have if you don't have the cordage hooking this together. stand a chance of this thing falling apart very easily. It's just a bunch of dead leaves and fluff in there, so should have a pretty good one going there. Might actually get this. Okay, so there we got a pretty good flame going now. So now you'll get this in your fire pit, get your smalls pulled over on top of it. I'm gonna drop that down there. So there you go. Even though it kind of gives you the impression that that would be an easy thing to use for a fire, it does burn up pretty fast and makes it a lot harder to get a fire going with that. But we did get one going. It took a little bit there, and like I said, it's a good reason to have a nice big ferro rod so you can shower the sparks down into that. Now one last thing I want to say here is my wife brought to my attention that it gave the appearance that I was just kind of throwing my fire on the ground and then heading off back home. That's not really the case. I do throw it down, and when I get off camera I do come back and I make sure my fires are out whenever I'm doing a fire making. I have a gallon of water with me. I come over, I make sure that I saturate it, that there's no smoke or sparks left in my fires. So, well, I hope you enjoyed this video and this series using our ferro rod. We have some other things going on. I have a flint and steel video that should already be posted for you to watch, and I'll be doing some other fire making stuff in the future. So, okay, have a nice day. Thanks.